Welcome to this session. Right. Sorry to call you on a Saturday afternoon. I know it's a weekend for all of you, but I think the topic was important, right? And quants was something a lot of you were facing difficulties with. So I did think that we should do a session on quants specifically, where we spend 1.5 2 hours just to get the intricacies of the subject and how to get good at it. So alongside me, I have Arpan. Arpan is a current student at IIM Calcutta. Arpan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Aman, just a second. Can you give me a minute? I'm connecting a Bluetooth. Just a second.
Sure, no worries. So before Arpan introduces himself, I would just like to take a moment and introduce me. So I am Aman Jain. I am a current student at XLRI from Jaipur. Right. I have had the privilege to give the examinations twice, first in 2020 and then in 2022. I did convert some good colleges back then, but then I had to take the decision of dropping those converts to get into a better college with a better profile. So that is why I took that drop. And last year I had 99.7 with a 99.94 at points, right? So which makes me eligible to take this session for you and help you guys as much as I can. So yes, there is Arpan. So and then we are someone who know each other for quite some time now. We've been in touch for almost 2 years now. So I thought if I had to help you guys with Quant, who better than Arpan to break up, right? And he's really passionate about quants as much as. So I think we'll be able to help you guys with some good tips and tricks and how you can go ahead with your preparation and your examination strategy. Hey Arpan, how are you doing?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hi, Aman. So
Yes,
I'll briefly introduce myself.
sure.
Uh, I am Calcutta. I joined in the 2023 to 2025 batch. Uh, I just completed my first year about a month back. So about my CAT journey. In CAT 2022, the year through which I entered CAT 2020, I had an overall 99.91 percentile. Uh, and in QA and DLR, both I had 99.9 plus. So that's about it. And also, I've given CAT multiple times, even just for checking my prep. I also gave it this year also, just for fun, CAT 2023. So that's about it. And also, uh, apart from CAT, I've given ZAT also. That was also I have given a couple of times. I've attempted it. So any questions related to that or CAT you may have, we can discuss about that. Yeah.
Sure. That's a great introduction, Arpan. Uh, so yeah, I mean, let's just skip to the chase. Let's get to the topic, which is quantitative ability quants as we know it. Right. So first of all, I think out of all the sections in CAT, both of us have been really passionate about this section specifically. First, because of course we've had our interest, because we were engineers in the past, and then this subject had some background in our history. But then also because quants as a subject is something which involves number crunching, it involves logical ability, it involves solving in general, right? And that is something we engineers are very fond of. But saying this, I also realize that there are a lot of non-engineers who are not very comfortable with solving, who are not very comfortable with numbers. So picking this thing up first, Arpan, what do you think? I mean, how should non-engineers proceed with quants? People who are scared of it, people who do not have a background with it, how should they proceed with quants?
Yeah. So there is firstly this notion that CAT quants is quite tough when it's perceived by a non-engineer as compared to an engineer. But what I have felt throughout the years is that it's not actually like that. I've seen multiple non-engineers who have scored a lot. Even some of them have even got a perfect 100 in quants as well. So actually, the thing is not that people think that engineers might have been familiar with quants for all those 4 years of their engineering and all of that. That actually is not the case because in engineering, it's much more than quants. It's not actually just quants. Quants is basically just basic mathematics that is used in our engineering. And we probably have been experiencing quants as much as non-engineers have been, because the quants that is part of CAT is basically more or less covered till class 10th maths. And after that, it's basically very few topics that are actually related to 11th and 12th math subjects. So, firstly, if you start off your prep just thinking in mind that you are a non-engineer and you are already lagging behind an engineer, that's definitely not the case. You are almost at par with the engineers in quant section, and you must have that ability and agility to do those calculations mentally as well, and also to practice a lot. Practice obviously makes a lot of difference. There are people who started off not very well. Probably they scored around 15, 20 out of the 66 total marks in CAD when they started the prep and mocks, but actually they did quite well. They even scored more than 40 out of 66. That is quite a good score in quant. So at the end of the day, it's all practice. It's all how you have been focusing in your prep. How well have you been giving the mocks? So there is nothing to worry about that you being a non-engineer lags you behind. You should just focus, stay calm, and focus on your prep, and not hear any of these things. That is basically not very backed things that people say that non-engineers can't do quants.
Correct. And also, I mean, see, people need to understand that quant is comprised of a lot of sections, right? I mean, there's arithmetic, there's algebra, there's geometry, number systems, all those things, right? Now, as non-engineers, there might be a possibility that you might struggle with some sections. Maybe you might struggle with geometry, or some of you struggle with algebra and subjects like or topics like that. So, what you need to do as non-engineers also, and I even advise it to engineers, that first of all, while you're doing quants, what you need to do is go through the entire syllabus first, right? Look at all the topics that are there in the syllabus, right? Find out your comfort from your existing knowledge, right? That okay, time speed distance तो मैंने कर रखा है या फिर मैंने algebra quadratic equation पहले कर रखा है. So develop a familiarity with the topics that you have done before, right? So first thing that we always advise people to do is go through the entire syllabus, spot those topics which you feel comfortable depending on your past, spot those topics which you've always had difficulty solving. Right. First of all, you need to identify those things. Secondly, what you need to do is now, whatever topics are your strengths, they will always be the topics which will milk numbers for you, right? So let's say arithmetic is a strength for you guys, and you're able to solve 90% of the questions of arithmetic, then it will easily fetch you 20 to 25 marks in the final paper if you go with a good approach, right? So you have to identify what are your strengths, and whatever your weaknesses are, you need to understand. What people do is, let's say I do not number system does not happen to me, so I will just leave number system. And what if they just asked a question from the property HCF into LCF, that property, right? So if some very easy question comes up from even the topic that you face a lot of difficulty in, you should be able to do it, right? So take it from me, there should be no subject, no topic at all which you have to leave for your quants, right? If you face difficulty in any of the topics, you can at least do it till LOD1, maybe LOD 1.5, don't go further, but you have to at least know that level of depth into that topic, right? And saying that, as Arpan just mentioned, that it is just in your head. It is a psychological barrier that you have created, that quants is very tough, quants is not doable. At the end of the day, if you look at it, the syllabus is just in elementary mathematics till 9th and 10th, right? So if you were able to do it in 9th and 10th, there is no reason for you to not do it. I mean, 9th and 10th, we were not engineers and non-engineers, right? We were just school students. And if you were able to do it back then, you will be able to do it right now. It's just that you've lost practice. You just have to gain that, and you will be able to do that. Now, coming to that, I mean, a lot of you are starting your preparations also. So someone asked me, what are some good sources of preparing and practicing quants, right? So first I'll ask Arpan to tell whatever sources he used to prepare from quant, practice quant from, and then I'll tell you what sources I used, and then it will give you an exhaustive set of where you can prepare and practice from. Arpan, you want to take it up?
Yeah. So firstly, I second your all the points that you said, and just want to mention the things that yes, there should not be any topic that you haven't even seen the very basics of, and you if you see that question in mocks or in final paper, you skip it completely without even reading the question. just because the fact is that in the last cat, what happened was people usually tend to focus heavily on arithmetic, as is told by many of the coachings and all that. Arithmetics covers the most portion of cat quants. About 50% questions are there from arithmetic and all. But this time, what happened was that the arithmetic questions were slightly trickier as compared to the other sections, and people who might have focused only on cat arithmetic, quants arithmetic, and not focused on other topics such as number system, probability, and all of that, because that they would not have gone with the paper would not have gone very easy right for them, just because the questions of probability and all that were relatively simpler. So person who might have had a basic understand even a basic understanding of those concepts in probability and all, he would have cracked them. But the people who might have gone banking just on arithmetic, they would have gone for a toss, just because the questions were slightly on the difficult side this time. So there should not be any topic that you should skip completely. You should at least have the basic understanding of all the topics. You should read the question first, and if you feel that it is not easy to attempt, then you must skip that. But there should not be any topic that you skip just on getting to know the topic. That if this is from probability, I'll skip that. That should not be the case. And coming on to the next part, the sources. So, see, my preparation was a bit different. My preparation was entirely based on the amount of questions I practiced and the various sources from where I practiced. I was not that kind of person who was much like interested in covering the syllabus and all, because as I said earlier also, it's basically elementary level maths only. It's not that firstly you have to take a lot of days to complete your syllabus, make notes and all of that, and then come on to that, revise that, and then start practicing. My habit was that even if I didn't know a topic much in depth, I used to practice questions from different sources. So my first source, I guess, I debuted from practicing questions from Telegram group channels. So why I say that Telegram group channels are quite a good source of practicing questions is that people generally post the questions which are not very easy. See, they are in all of the books that you might encounter, you might get to know about. There are different types of difficulties that they are segregated on. I guess that is LOD1, LOD2, and LOD3, and some of them are very basic. So I didn't actually want to cover those questions. So my focus was on attempting the difficult, relatively tougher ones only. So because the doubts that people would post on Telegram groups would be of a significant difficulty, not very basic ones. So that was a very good source for me to practice quants with. The questions that they posted, I would usually frequently solve them. And also one more thing that you get in the Telegram groups is that it's not that only your approach is there. There are plenty of other people who are attempting the same question. They would also solve that, and they would also provide the solution there on the groups with a different approach. And what then happens is that when you get multiple approaches of a single question, then you get to filter out yourself that which one is the best approach, which one is the easiest, and which one is the fastest one that can be implemented in the exam. So what I usually did was I practiced questions from Telegram groups. There are plenty of couple of them I know of that are quite good that people actively engage in. You practice question. I practice questions from them, and what I used to do is that some things that people posted solutions, and then other questions also that I didn't know any basic thing or basic formula about. I used to accumulate those formulas in a separate notebook, just so that I get to know this specific trick or formula, so that I can apply that from now onwards in the my next question. Apart from that, one other source of my practice was past year mocks. So past year mocks are also available ready in your Telegram also and other places as well. And they are quite a good source of practice because quality of questions there is quite good. So you don't need to worry whether these things are relevant to CAT or not. Those things are quite good. And what I used to do was from the past year mocks, I used to take up a section, for example, quants, and then create a timer of the suppose 60 minutes or 40 minutes, whatever large the section was, and then attempt the questions, so that I in addition to the my solving of the question, I also maintained the speed and kept a note of where actually I was lagging and where actually I needed to improve. So these two were my most refer to sources, I would say.
All right, that's so good. I mean, and explained in a detailed manner, right? So as Arpan mentioned, what happens. So you see that we guys also share questions with you every single day in the form of three different sections. And why we do that is because we understand that there are plethora of questions available in the industry, right? If you look at books, there are a lot of books. People talk about Arun Sharma. Arun Sharma has some 10,000 questions. Now, how do you know which questions to attempt? There are materials of time, IMS, every coaching has their own material and all that stuff. So a student usually gets confused between where he or she should attempt questions from. And also they're really confused about the questions that we are attempting. Are they even of the level of difficulty of CAT or not? So that is also one of the major issues that exist, right? So one of the sources that Arpan mentioned are truly there, right? Other sources that I can tell you of are also, so every coaching gives you mock sectionals, right? So give those mock sectionals, open up QA sectional, take those 40 minutes, give that QA sectional. So using that, what you'll do is you'll understand that in the time pressure where you're lacking, right? Let's say if I give you the quant paper, if I give you 1.5 hours, majority of you will be able to kind of do it. But in that time pressure, in that 40 minutes, how many of you are able to do it? Secondly, for practicing normally at home, what you can do is you can pick up past CAT papers, you can pick up past mocks, you can pick up sectionals, you can pick up. Now, we also send you questions very frequently. And then, for books like Arun Sharma and everything, ideally try to avoid questions of LOD1 at all costs, right? Because honestly, what I feel is depending on your current amount of knowledge, also, you will easily be able to do LOD1, right? And it will just reinforce your belief that, yes, you know the basic questions, right? So maybe solve 5, 10 of them, maybe solve 5, 10 of easy questions, then probably move to LOD2, LOD3 as soon as possible, right? Also, for every topic, what people try to do is they spend a lot of time preparing through the concepts of the topic, reading through the theory of that topic. Understand that mathematics, as we are always told from our childhood, is a subject which always comes from practice, right? There is very less of theory, a lot of practice involved in getting a mastery at quants, right? So ideally, what you need to do is try and finish like any concept that you pick up, any topic that you pick up. Let's say you picked up time, speed, distance today, right? Do not spend more than a day understanding the theory, even less than that, understanding the theory and the concepts behind the topic, right? And as soon as you have a brief confidence and initial confidence that you know what is there in it, just jump towards the questions, right? Initially, you'll struggle a lot in doing questions, especially the tough ones. But that is where your learning will come up, right? If you do easy ones and if you're even able to do the easy ones, there's no learning involved. Pick up the tough ones, pick up the moderate ones, spend time with them, suffer with them. If you're not able to understand, look at the solutions, right? Also, even if you're doing it the right way, but you're taking a lot of time, still look at the solutions, right? See if that person who has made the solution had a better approach than you, right? And in quants, I mean, me and Arpan, I think both of us would agree that if we solve 10 questions, we can have 20 different methods to solve those 10 questions, right? And that happens for everyone. That is why, and if we just focus on our approaches, we'll miss on the most optimum approach that's there, right? So always go for finding the most optimum approach for solving any question, right? Because you have to do it over and over again till CAT. And let's say in those 22 questions, even if you're able to apply the most optimum one in 10, 12 of them, you will be at a really safe spot, in my opinion, right? So that is there. And in quants, one thing is there that you have to be very consistent about it. Varna kya hoga? You've done arithmetic right now, okay? 10, 15 days you do arithmetic, then you start doing algebra, you just do algebra. After finishing algebra, when you come back to arithmetic, you start understanding that you don't even know anything about it anymore, right? You start forgetting things. So you have to be consistent in practicing mixed questions as well, right? I mean, someone asked me yesterday that I do finish topics, but then there's a revision issue. I forget things as I go forward. So every weekend, try to do mixed questions. Like इस पूरे वीक में algebra कर लो, लेकिन arithmetic हो गया, तो arithmetic के questions भी practice करो इस week में, weekend पे. Right? So every weekend, try practicing mixed questions if you can. Try revising all the things through questions if you can. Right? That will be a really, really good approach. Right? Now, this comes to your preparation. Brief में summarize करना है तो start with on day one. Start with concept. right? Day 2, day 3 पे practice, self practice, right? And do it over and over again for all the topics, right? और अलग अलग sources से practice करो. कि कुछ पास्ट कैट के क्वेश्चन उठा लो, कुछ टेलीग्राम ग्रुप के क्वेश्चन उठा लो, मिक्स क्वेश्चन करो, 60 70 80 क्वेश्चंस हर टॉपिक के कर लो, दे विल बी रॉक सॉलिड फॉर यू, राइट? दैट इज माय ओपिनियन ऑफ इट. नाउ आई थिंक preparation and solving should be good for you. The next thing that's, and sources भी I think आप पता ही होंगे, right? और like Arun Sharma, past mocks, past CAT sectionals from your coaching, Telegram groups, right? 5 sources are more than enough for CAT QA, right? Now, the next thing that we come up to is
Yeah, I mean,
attempting mocks.
one more thing I would like to say is, like,
Correct.
usually students in the starting, what they tend to do is that they tend to look out for a lot of sources, and first they collate all the sources, maybe tens of them, twenties of them, and then they start figuring out which ones to start with, and that may creates a lot of confusion in the minds of the people, that which one should I do, which one is good, which one is not. There is no right source. I would say you should start with any of the one that you get. Start with it. If you feel after some time that this is the level is quite low or maybe quite high, then you may tend to switch on to some other thing. But don't tend to look out for advices from all the people out there, that which one should which book should I refer to, which mock should I do. uh, just start with one basic thing. Try to learn from it, and then if you feel that you have leveled up once, then you can switch on to other source. But don't just be confused looking out for different types of sources, different sources available in the these groups and all. Just start with one of them and keep on practicing with it. Yeah.
Correct. And also, I mean, if you're facing difficulty in quants, right? Something which I always feel is you should not shame around, right? Any simple doubt that you have, anything that you're struggling with, put it up in the group, right? One thing that I don't really not appreciate is people struggling with questions. They're just spending a lot of time and then just leaving it right there. They feel that if we ask this question, people will feel that I'm very bad, right? That is totally fine. No one cares if you're good or bad. I mean, if you get selected in the very end, people will understand you were good. If you don't, people will understand you're not good, right? So, abhi ye mat socho ki what will people think? I'm asking a very basic question. Any question that you're solving, if you're not getting it, put it up in the group, right? That is something which is very important. Palak, we'll have a DILR session for sure very soon. So, we'll surely cover that up. Shrey is asking for my
And
cat.
also adding on to this thing, that you don't feel ashamed that asking such question might lead to people bringing in their thoughts that you don't know this thing, you don't know that. Just don't compare your day one with day 100 of other people. Just because they have practiced already a lot doesn't mean that you should not you should hesitate from asking them. It's better to not hesitate now, rather than having a regret later that I should have asked this question earlier when I didn't know. So it's better to look for opinions of the people around you, but don't think that they might judge you and all. There are people who judge, but they are the people that you should not care about. After all, there are lots of people. Some might judge you, some might not. But you should be in the right company. You should be among the right set of people, and they would help you out from your problems and all of that.
Correct. So, Abhijit, do you have a doubt?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, please.
So what happens with me is when I solve tough questions,
Mhm.
sometimes it takes more time to solve, like 15 to 20 minutes one question takes. So what should I do?
Okay, so initially give it that
And
time.
later I feel I wasted my time. Matlab, it has the
Okay,
simple approach, but
ठीक है, understood. I think I did answer this, and I think Arpan will also agree to this. Ki initially, yeah, this is April right now. Okay, if you're attempting tough questions and it's taking you 10-15 minutes to solve them, there's nothing wrong with it, in my opinion, right? Give it that time, solve those tough questions again and again, right? Give those 10-15 minutes every time, and slowly you'll start realizing more optimum approach to solve that problem. The more time you spend with these questions, the more your brain opens up to tough approaches, tough questions, right? So keep doing it. I mean, understand that abhi 10-15 minute lag raha hai, that gives you a upper ceiling ki हाँ ठीक है, 10-15 minutes to maximum है. Now I have to reduce it to 10 minutes, I have to reduce it to 5 minutes, 3 minutes eventually, right? So धीरे धीरे practice जब करोगे ना, this number is going to reduce a lot, but it will only happen if you practice a lot, right? Also, every time when you're taking so much time, no, try thinking of an alternative approach, right? कि क्या मैं एक ऐसी ही approach follow कर रहा हूँ जो बहुत traditional है? Is there an easy approach to solve these questions, right? So always have this thing in mind. I always call myself as a very bad mathematician in general when it comes to quant, because मैं क्या करता हूँ? I always try finding क्विक वेज टू सॉल्व दैट क्वेश्चन, ठीक है? मैं हर क्वेश्चन में देखता हूँ क्या मैं वैल्यूज पुट कर सकता हूँ कुछ, राइट? क्या मैं कोई वैल्यू अज्यूम कर सकता हूँ, क्या मैं ऑप्शंस यूज करके क्वेश्चन कर सकता हूँ? अगर वो सबसे नहीं हो रहा है तब मैं उसको ट्रेडिशनल अप्रोच से करता हूँ, वरना नहीं करता। मतलब ट्रेडिशनल अप्रोच से करता ही नहीं हूँ अगर वो इन तीन से हो रहा है, राइट? यूजुअली व्हाट पीपल डू इज पीपल गो द अदर वे अराउंड, कि पहले मैं सॉल्व कर देता हूँ, फिर मैं फंस जाऊंगा 4 मिनट बाद, फिर आई विल सी कि क्या ऑप्शन से हो रहा है। तो इनिशियल 30 सेकेंड्स में तो आपको पहले तीन ट्राई कर लेने चाहिए कि क्या मैं x इक्वल टू 100 लेट x इक्वल टू 100 करके कर पा रहा हूँ, क्या ABCD को मैं पुट करके देखूंगा, क्विकली क्विक मैथ्स करके देखूंगा तो हो जाएगा क्या, राइट? So always try those approaches first. Quant में it works like wonders actually, right? I mean try करके देखोगे तो मजा आ जाएगा। I mean people just have this resistance कि यार नहीं बहुत टाइम लग जाता है इसमें, उल्टा बहुत फास्ट होती हैं ये approaches. I mean they're way faster than you writing everything down, coming up to a solution. वहां पे भी कुछ गलती करोगे तो आंसर गलत ही आ जाएगा, राइट? एंड दीज आर गुड वेज टू वेरीफाई ऑल्सो। अगर कुछ आंसर आया है ना, उसको वेरीफाई करके भी डायरेक्टली देख सकते हो इन अप्रोचेस से। अर्जुन, यू लाइक टू ऐड समथिंग? राइट, तो वही चीज है कि आई मीन इनिशियली तो देखो टाइम लगता है, देयर इज अ रेजिस्टेंस, यू नो, टुवर्ड्स ट्रिक्स, टुवर्ड्स ऑल दीज अप्रोचेस, शॉर्टकट्स, राइट? बट अंडरस्टैंड कि जितने भी टॉपर्स से तुम बात करोगे, पीपल विद मोर देन 99.9, जिनसे भी बात करोगे, कोई भी ऐसा बंदा तुम्हें रेयरली ही मिलेगा जो बोलेगा कि मैं सारे क्वेश्चन लिख के सॉल्व करता हूँ अप्रोच से, राइट? एंड ये जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना, तुम्हें मॉक में यू हैव टू अप्लाई दिस फ्रॉम योर फर्स्ट मॉक। Try with 4 5 questions, try solving them using options, try solving them by assuming values, and you will start seeing it improving, right? I think you have to add something to this.
Yeah. So this approach of of option checking or putting random values that you think might be enough for getting the feasible solution. So these things actually save a lot of time. The question, if you use a traditional approach to solve it, might take around 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And sometimes what happens is even taking solving it with taking options or taking some random values, the question gets solved in even 20-25 seconds. So what actually happens is the buffer now you have is the extra 2 minutes that you might have taken otherwise. You can invest that in some other question that actually requires some time, and you actually can solve the other difficult question that other people might not actually be able to solve just because they solved this question also using the traditional approach. So that puts you ahead already in terms of time as well. And in almost, if I guess, around almost, there are 22 questions, and even sometimes in mocks or even in actual paper, you can solve 7 or 8 of them also with option checking and wise guessing. So that would actually prove quite a significant time push in your final exam as well, where you have um, would have a lot of anxiety that we have 22 questions, only 42 minutes are there. But when you take these approaches, cut short on time on some of the questions, that gives you an additional advantage of solving more questions in lesser time. So you should actually practice questions, taking some unique and wise approaches, unique some using some options and all of that. That will actually prove to be quite beneficial for you. Yeah. And yes, as Aman said, no person like who has been able to score a lot of marks. For example, suppose a person has scored from 66, he has scored more than 50, 55 marks. It Most of those are not possible by only solving through traditional approaches. People have to take a shortcut. People have to take wise guessing, option checking, and all of that to be able to solve so many amount of questions. Otherwise, people just to solve it with surety or taking a traditional approach, people have lost lots of time. People tend to even invest 4 or 5 minutes also onto a single question just because they are not getting it with the method that they have traditionally used, which can easily be skipped using the options. Sometimes options are so clear that you don't even have to check all the four options for putting in those values. Even one of the options is clear enough to get you through to the correct solution. So you should actually invest in some time in these activities as well. apart from the actual problem solving that you do.
Correct. And Sumangal, I mean, don't hope for different organizations to come up with different discussion groups, right? We've already created a discussion group, and then every time when I push you guys to discuss problems out there, I just see 2 to 3 to 5 people discussing there. Others, I just feel do not actually care a lot about their selection, is what I feel, right? So do not hope for different organizations. Do you not feel our group is capable enough to clear the doubts for you? If you feel so, just share a question and then see how quickly we clear that up for you, right? So don't worry and don't hope. I mean, if you are from one academy, then of course hope from that. But if you are not, if you are serious aspirant, I mean, try putting that question up and see how we can help you with that question, right? Okay, going ahead. Um, Next thing is the people have doubts. A lot of them have doubts that we have single digit mock scores. We are stuck for 5 to 10 minutes in a single question. We waste a lot of time in that, and then our entire section goes down the hill in mocks, right? So now let's for 10 to 15 minutes talk about how do we attempt mocks, how people who are actually good at it, people who have cracked it, how we attempt mocks, how we approach the section of QA in our mocks, and how we did it the final exam as well. And that will give you some idea on to what is the most optimum way to do it, right? And trust me, 5 to 10 marks can easily be brought upon if you use the right strategy to apply the paper as well, right? Even if you don't get conceptually very strong from where you are right now, even if you just apply the right strategy into the examination with the right mentality, I think you can easily bring out 5 to 10 marks more, right? Arpan, do you want to start this up?
Yeah. So firstly, the thing I would like to say is that it is April only. Abhi. Matlab May would start, and there is plenty of time left for you to make mistakes, learn from them, bounce back from your low mock score. So firstly, you should not feel disappointed a lot at this point of time. Actually, when you're starting your prep, that अभी तो क्या होगा फिर एग्जाम में कितने मार्क्स आएंगे, एक्चुअल ये वो क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं. अभी तो like it's the correct time for you to make all of the mistakes that you might actually make in the exam otherwise. Learn from them, make all the mistakes that you can, learn from them, take all the unconventional approaches, unique approaches that you might to try now rather than trying something new in exam. अभी तो it's like May, June, July, August, like lot of months. If I remember correctly, when I started my prep for CAT 2022, it was actually somewhere around August or September. So you are already like way ahead. You have already have lot more time in your hands. You should firstly though you should start with your preparation, solving, and all of that. And mocks के scores पे don't look अभी इतना like seriously कि I'm not scoring, I'm scoring single digit और ये सब. There are people who have started with negative scores as well and ended up with 99 plus percentiles as well in that same section. So just try to improve upon your mock scores in each mock, and for that, for mock scores improvement, first the most important thing is the analysis that you should do. You should have the right way to look at the mock after you take the mock, how you look at the mock, how you solve the questions. Even looking at all, even if you have solved all the questions, you should anyways look at the solution that the mock provider has taken. Just because they might have a different approach that cuts short the time by even 1 minute, that can prove beneficial as well. So for mock scores, firstly, abhi to for mocks, firstly, I believe that mocks should be taken seriously after you have like prepared at least 30-40% of your syllabus. So uske baad hi you should take your mock scores seriously. Like around July, August is when the peak starts coming. So then you should try to compete harder, because I remember I used to take the IMS mocks more seriously just because people there were regularly above 15,000 uh, people who gave the mocks regularly, the proctored ones. So you had a very healthy competition and a tough competition, and the competition is what leads you to motivating you to score much more in the next mock, to getting ahead of all the people that you see in the previous one. So take the right approach, take the right mocks, take the right approach to review them, analyze them, and then if you aren't even scoring, then you should be somewhat worried that what is the wrong thing that I am doing. but abhi it's not the right time to be worried about what your scores actually are.
Correct. And so someone just asked, where should I take mocks, right? Ideally, two mock series is advisable. You're right. One, as Arpan said, and I've also said it multiple times, IMS's SimCat are really good, right? In terms of the level of difficulty, they have it very balanced. In terms of the competition that they have, it's really, really good, right? So one, you can take it from IMS, right? Second, you can either take it from CrackU, you can or take it from Career Launcher. CrackU's box that they've started putting in some real effort for Quant and DLR recently, right? So started advising people track you as well. Coming back to how you can attempt the mock for QA, right? Or how you can attempt the paper is how I used to go was I used to start from question one and I had the target that by the end of 14-15 minutes, I should be on question number 22. Right. And how I used to do was I used to do my quant paper in three iterations, right? I mean, I learned it very late. Initially, I used to just do all the questions that used to come my way. Then I learned it slowly how the best way to do it works, right? So I used to just, and I'll get back to you. So what I used to do was I used to just, let's say, start from question number one. I used to solve any particular question which I thought could be done in less than a minute, right? So basically, the easiest questions of the paper, those 8 to 10 easy questions that exist now, 8 to 10 for me, maybe for you, the easy ones will be just 4 to 5. Whatever are the easy questions in the paper, you'll just skim through the paper and just solve those questions, which will be the easy ones. Right. So let's say question number 1, 5, 7, 13, 18, 20, and 22 are the easy ones. So I'll just solve those questions. For the others, I'll just have a look in 10-15 seconds. If I realize this is a tough one, this will not happen very early, I move on to next question. And I just do it over and over again. And when I reach question number 22, then after I reach question number 22, I come back to question number one. And then in the second iteration, I used to solve the moderate level questions, right? Questions which take maybe 2 to 3 minutes to solve. And this is how I used to do 6 to 7 more questions, right? And lastly, I had some 10 minutes. And then in those 10 minutes, I had a target. And I used the mark for review feature very, very efficiently, right? Mark for review and even mark for review and next feature that is very relevant because, when you're solving questions, you should have an idea that while you're going through the paper, right? Let's say question number one is doable, question number four is doable, question number two is very difficult, but question number three is moderate but doable. So you solve question number one and four. While you're doing question number three, you do mark for review and next, right? So that you understand that when you have to come back to solving the second iterations, which questions are those questions that you have to pick, right? Utilize all the things that are there in that interface of that mock or the examination. That mark for review feature is just a hack to save a lot of time, right? So that's how I used to solve it. I used to solve it in three iterations. So make an habit that no matter what, in the first iteration, I will never touch a tough question, right? I will never attach my ego to it. जैसे ही मेरे एटलीस्ट 8 to 10 क्वेश्चन इजी वाले करेक्ट हो जाएंगे, then only I'll pick up tough questions. I should be in a safety net, a safe spot, right, to be able to do that. So पहले जितने भी 4, 5, 8, 10 easy question I'll attempt, I'll do them right, and then only I'll move to the tough ones. That's there. Also coming back to the UI, right? There's a calculator at the top, right? Now people advise very strongly against calculator, but I would tell you that मेरी तो कैलकुलेटर ने बहुत हेल्प की है while using that option putting वाला चीज value assumption वाला चीज, while I used all those hacks to find the answer, calculator helped me insanely, right? I don't know why people strongly, I mean, it's not advisable to use the calculator for every question, but for 4 or 5 questions calculator can be of great help in my opinion, both for quants and for DIR, right? So use all those things. I mean, all the tools that are there at your perusal, use them and leverage as much as you can. Use that mark for review and next feature. Utilize that time very, very properly, right? When you're solving easy questions, you have to only solve easy questions. When you're solving tough, you have to only solve tough questions. Because क्या होता है शुरू में जब easy कर लेते हो, you get into a momentum, right? And then even if you pick a moderate or tough question, शुरू में अगर tough करने जाओगे वो नहीं होगा because you don't have that momentum. But as you start solving, you gain that momentum, and that is how you should attempt your mocks. And I would like to second what Arpan said कि अभी फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता है mock scores कितने आते हैं. There's a friend of me who was a pass out of MDA Gurgaon, he had his average of initial 5 mocks maybe was around 70-75 percentile. Okay, he ended up showing a 99.1 percentile in the final examination, and the average of his last 5 mocks was around 98.5 or something. Right, so this improvement does come up, right? But you have to trust yourself. You have to believe that yes, I'll be able to do it, and only then it happens. Initial mock scores are koi dikhta bhi nahi hai. It is just so that you understand where you are right now, and it is for you to understand the mentality that goes in behind the game, right? Would you please guide how to start preparing for quant section? I mean, I have done it, I think, in the session before. Just to brief it, you can watch the recording also, but just to brief it, go through the syllabus first, evaluate your strengths and weaknesses, start from your strengths initially, right? For every topic that you pick up, first day for theory, right? First day you cover up theory from any source, Arun Sharma, Time, booklets, anything that you want. From second, third day, you have to start picking up questions. Second day, pick up LOD2 questions. First day, LOD1 finish kar lo. Second day, pick up LOD2. Third day, pick up LOD3. I mean, this is what I'm saying in terms of Arun Sharma. You can pick up any other source also, but second day, practice moderate ones. Third day, practice difficult ones is what I mean. Right, and you have to do it over and over again. And also every weekend, try and practice mixed questions from all the topics that you've done before, right? Just so that your revision happens and you do not forget topics that you've done, right? So every weekend, practice mixed questions as much as you can. Now, answering Ojus, your question, I mean, I'll put my views on time series and then Arthur can also tell it. But based on my opinion, the AIMCATs were really good 2-3 years back, right? They used to put a lot of efforts. They used to make really good questions. People were scared by the level of questions of AIMCATs, and I mean, me and Arpan will relate to it. But then what they've started doing right now is the level of mocks that they prepare right now is not at all at par with CAT, honestly. And they've started picking up questions from past AIMCATs also. They pick up questions from past AIMCATs and they put it up in this AIMCAT, right? Doesn't make sense at all. For an organization as big as Time, if they're doing something like this, it is totally not justified, right? So that is the reason I absolutely do not recommend AIMCATs to anyone. Anton, do you have anything to add?
I mean, you were almost spot on with that. I was actually going to say that only. Because for CAT 2020, I remember I would say time mocks were the best ones because they had the best quality. Most people were taking those mocks, and there was a lot of healthy competition going on. But after that, I don't know why things have gone downhill only. They have started picking questions from either from past year CATs or past year mocks, completely same without even changing the values or terms and all. They directly copy paste the questions from their DLR sets are regularly copied from the past year mocks. And then some of the mocks they like prepare so low level that people actually are scoring even 200 plus out of 224. Like what's even the use of such mocks when in actual CAT you people highest score is almost around 160 170 and in mocks people are touching 200 plus regularly. So time mocks have degraded a lot. If I would have to give you a choice, firstly, that would be IMS. No doubt, IMS one mocks are the best one. Secondly, one from either Kraku or Career Launcher. Either of these two works. Kraku has been putting a lot of efforts lately in their quants and GLR. Their level has been very like almost perfect. The new approach sets that they have been making that is also quite good to refer to. So time mocks I won't recommend personally at all.
Correct. And I mean, if you have plenty of other options, guys, I mean, no need to go. I mean, time is not the time that we knew from before, right? So it's totally fine. Refer to other options. Take 2 mock series at max, and that should be enough for you to do good. I mean, अगर 2 mock series लेके उनके भी सारे mock test दे दिए ना तुमने, that will be more than enough to get you to the point where you want to be. Right now, putting it up now, I think we've covered majority of things. We'll open the floor up for doubts, right? But one thing that I want to add to this is, the mentality part of it, right? That I understand quant is not a subject which all of you are comfortable with, right? And it takes a lot of time and consistency to build it. But trust me, there is no section in CAT which rewards you better than quants, right? Quants will, I mean, if you get good at it, if you crack that game, BRC is unpredictable again. TILR gets unpredictable sometimes. Quants is that loyal girlfriend, boyfriend which will always stay with you, right? And if you crack the game, your scores will surely be on the rise. I can tell you my situation in CAT 2022. I mean, VRC was unpredictable and I could not do so well at VRC. And I realized it in the paper that I had screwed up VRC, right? DILR was very tough. So, I mean, when we were doing it, although my score was decent, but I didn't know how I was doing, right? It all came down to quants. And then I had trusted my quants enough that I will be able to do good in this no matter what. And I finished the paper in 30, 34, 35 minutes or so, and eventually scored up a very good score in that. Right. So quants never betrayed me when I had gotten expertise into it, right? So trust me, the effort that you guys want to put into quants will surely be worth it, and it will give you an advantage which people with VRC or DILR might not have. Right? Some people bank on VRC a lot. Sometimes they get hurt very badly. Some people bank on DILR a lot. They are slightly unpredictable sections, guys. Quant, in my opinion, I mean, 80-90% of the people can easily be predicted. I mean, there will be questions which will be very similar to ones that you might have practiced at home, right? There's nothing like that for VRC and VIR, right? So that's the reason. I mean, if you're thinking that is it going to be worth it, the effort that we are going to be putting in, it is absolutely going to be worth it, right? It will take a lot of time. As maybe a loyal boyfriend of a girlfriend, they will ask for your commitment, they will ask for your time, they will ask for everything. But then at the end of the day, you'll get satisfaction and happiness in them, right? So that is what I want to conclude this with. Arpan, if you have any words to tell, then you can, and then maybe 5-10 minutes we can have a quick chit chat out session.
Yeah, so not much to add on, but I would say the same thing that quants is basically the most predictable section, at least for me. They see VRC might be predictable for those people, those set of people who are like indulged into heavy reading from lots of years, and that cannot be built right now for CAT. So there are a handful of people who bank on VRC for their scores to go up. Quant's DLR, on the other hand, is quite unpredictable. There is no syllabus at all of DLR. The sets can be as random as they can, and you won't even sometimes get to know what actually they are saying, what the conditions they have been putting, and all of that. So it's the most tricky section I feel is DLR only, and quants is basically the most dependable one where on any given on any bad day as well, I can say that I can push up my scores to quants as well because I am that confident enough in my concepts clarity and then my practice that even if there is a paper that is quite tough, I would be able to score 99.5, 99.9 plus easily in quants. So that would not only push my individual section score, but also push up my overall score as well. Had you not done well in the previous sections, this would launch your score up overall as well and give you a chance, real chance at getting the good score overall as well. Yeah. So I would say that if you practice, abhi to time is quite plenty of time left. If you practice it the right way, you can easily get hands on it and get comfortable with scoring good in that. And quants is the only section I've seen people who have like completed the whole section in actual CAT exam, even in 60-70% of the time that is allotted because people are so comfortable. People have that knack of calculating fast, knack of using the options well, using the conditions wisely. And people even tend to have 10-15 minutes left at the end doing nothing just because they're so confident in what they have actually marked in quant section. So for me, it's the best section in CAT and hope that you all can make it as well. Uh, any questions you can come up with? Also, if you can speak up instead of typing in the chat as well, that would convey better what you have to
Yeah,
say actually.
that will be really good. And I mean, get that confidence, guys. Understand you guys are, I mean, this is what we advise people when you're doing GDP and mentorship as well, that, you guys are going to be B-school graduates, right? At least this is something that you're aspiring to be. I mean, confidence is something that you have to come up with initially, if now, not today, tomorrow maybe, but you have to come up with that, right? And don't worry, don't get scared. No doubt is silly at all, right? I'm telling you, me and Arpan, we might have had the most silly of doubts, but then we got it cleared as soon as we had it, right? And that is the reason we are sitting here in front of you guys, helping you as much as we can. And we understand that any doubt, small or big, needs to be solved at that particular point in time because in your mind, there is definitely a big doubt, right? So don't worry. I mean, if you can, picking up will be a great thing that you would like. Next source of practice, Shreya. Okay,
Can
we've covered it
probably
up.
even raise your hand and speak on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that will be better, more structured. So Shreya, best source, we've covered it up. You can either watch the recording, but to cover that up, we told you five sources. First was past CATs, past mocks, Arun Sharma, Telegram group questions, and sectionals. Your mock sections, right? These are five very good source. Even if you follow all these five, I mean, start from any source. As we discussed, I mean, there's no best source to practice. Start from any source. Just keep doing things and be consistent about it, and you'll make it. For LRDI, again, past CATs are good source. Mocks are good sources. And Asterisk Shankar has a daily DILR playlist. That's a very good source, right? He has covered with video solutions. So you get a good, nice approach where he tells you everything that he follows. So yeah, these two, three sources can work really well for that. Any doubts, guys? Anyone else? Speak up. We would love that. Also, guys, we would soon be coming up with the mentorship initiative, the personal mentorship for Mentor Me Up and everything. We will keep you posted, right? Mostly it will be up by today evening, right? We'll keep you posted. There's a lot that we have to offer you guys, and we're very excited to do that. But we will let you know by the evening. Yes, Sarvajit, will you have a doubt?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
go ahead.
currently I'm doing 3 day LRDI, 2 day Quant Aptitude, and 1 day English. Is it a right strategy?
I mean, there is no right or wrong
Uh,
strategy. Essentially, see anything. I mean, ideally, I've not seen someone do this, right? That they do 3 day DRR. See, only if you're
Like
following this strategy.
I am done with my course. I'm just practicing questions 3 day, two
Yeah,
day.
yeah. So correct. So if you're doing it, if you're following this particular approach, do it only when you understand that you're weak at DLR. Okay, there's no other reason. If you're investing 3 days at a subject, that should only be to strengthen that subject, right? Do not, I mean, you ask me and Arpan, we would have never spent like a majority of our time practicing quants, right? We knew that our quants is strong enough. We used to just give it some amount of time to get it to the best, but we used to invest maybe more time in VRC and also DILR because it was more random, right? So yeah, DILR you can spend 2 to 3 days, that's there, but gauge which is your weakest section and make sure you give more time to your weak section as well. So if DILR is your weakest, okay, it's okay. If VRC is your weakest, don't give it a day, give it more than a day. All right, that will be good.
Yes. Thank you. Great insight.
No problem. Uh, Praveer, we'll have a session for VRC as well. We have two people. One is from IIM Calcutta who had a 99.95 in VRC. The other is from IIM Bangalore. We'll bring up two very good people for you for VRC. We will let you know when it happens. Akansha, not a doubt, when did you guys start your preparation? I think both of us started pretty late because we have had experience of giving it before as well. In 2022, I think I started in September or October. Arpan also started maybe in
yeah,
August or
around same August, September.
August,
Not
September. Correct. So we
yeah.
started. I mean,
Because
in
our
20,
preparation was mostly related to mocks only. We didn't
correct,
have to complete the syllabus and also that's when the
correct.
actual peak of mock starts. So August, September and all. But you should
For
not
you
look at
also, I
us
mean,
for that.
yeah. For you
Yeah.
also, this time is most optimum. I mean, if you start in April, very good. I mean, you have 6, 7 months, which is, I think, it's more than enough, right? Arpan?
Yeah, yeah. It's more than enough, easily. Yeah. Uma might have a doubt, I guess.
Uma, you have a
Yeah,
doubt?
hi everyone. Yeah,
Uma, yes, speak up.
uh, as I told you that I am a non-engineer and I have started my preparation in April starting only, and I am very weak in quant section. Even after 10th, I have not touched even mathematics.
Okay.
Some years back, I have started preparing for SSCs. So in that exam, I have not prepared the advanced level. Advanced level maths means apart from mathematics, I have not touched the advanced portion. So
Mhm.
now when I have started, so I started with algebra. And for the first time in my life, I have touched algebra.
Mhm.
So when I opened Arun Sharma as I have did a lot of research that Arun Sharma is a good book. So when I opened it, I got nothing from it. So what I did, I started preparing from Paramount book, that is for SSCs or basic level. So it's been 15 days, more than 15 days. I'm on only algebra.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm thinking that if I am going with this speed, it will take a lot more time to prepare, and I think there will be no time left for revision. So, do you have any suggestion?
Correct. See, it's not the case, okay? Understand there are broadly three, four segments in quant, okay? Arithmetic being one, algebra being one, geometry being one, maybe number system, modern maths being one, right? It's totally fine to spend 3, 4 weeks in one of them initially, right? Currently, when you don't know, when you haven't worked with algebra at all, it is very natural for you to spend 3, 4 weeks into that thing just so that you can strengthen it now. And understand there are three major things. I mean, arithmetic, algebra, geometry, right? Number system comes up sometimes in good numbers, but mostly number system, there are 2, 3 questions maximum, right? But arithmetic, algebra, geometry should easily cover 16 to 17 questions for you in CAT, right? So if it is giving you that level of output, you should at least spend 3, 4 weeks into that particular thing, right? So it's totally fine. And the more you get into it, the time that you invest in one particular thing will reduce significantly. Okay. So initially it will take you more time to prepare. Initially it will take you because you have not done it for some time. You are getting into that zone of preparing. So it is taking you some time. But over time, as you spend more time into it, it will become more easy and more better for you. Right. So don't worry.
Right.
Don't worry. It is there is a timeline which people need to follow to prepare, and you're following that same timeline, so it's totally fine. I mean, just be consistent around it, just spend good enough time into these things, and you should be able to cover things up properly.
Yeah, right now I am doing quant section daily and DILR and VARC on alternate days.
Correct. No issues. I mean, it's just that while you're practicing these questions, while you're practicing DLR and VRC, spend enough time into these as well, right? Because it looks like what is your weakest section, that's totally fine, you're giving enough time. But DLR also is a very unpredictable one, right? So make sure that you always stick around to DLR and alternate day practice 3 to 4 sets every alternate days. That should be good for you.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. Hey Praveer, uh, how many questions in quant and DLR per day? No holy number, man. I mean, ऐसा कुछ number तो नहीं होता है कि इतने questions कर लो. On an average, they take it as every month do maybe 800 to 1000 questions in quant, right? Maybe somewhere in that number, 700 to 800 questions, 20, 25 questions per day, right? In quants, and then DILR may, on an average in a month, try solving 70, 80 sets minimum. Right. Now, of course, if you're very proficient at it, this number will reduce. It depends on your current level. I mean, currently, if you are not doing very, very good, you have to do more questions. But currently, if you're very good at it, the number might reduce also. Like I don't think I solved more than 200, 300 quant questions every month, right? Because then there were not a lot of different questions that existed. Almost every variety was touched by me, so there was not a lot of variety to be solved. So as you get more proficient, this number will reduce, but initially you have to solve more questions. Like last question is like my graduation would be completed in month of May. So gap year, yeah, slight gap year, but it does not affect you a lot. But yeah, you can do internships if possible. Sources for good VRC questions. Initially, I think you can start with Bodhi Prep. Bodhi Prep has good RCs. It gives you confidence at least. So it has like 25, 30 RCs, good ones. You can start with that. Also, we share RCs almost every alternate day. We share 3 to 4 RCs with you and BA questions. So you can practice from that as well. I mean, it should help you. No worries, Palak. We'll be closing in 5 minutes. Any doubts left? We'll quickly cover it up. Arpan is a busy man. He would have to go then.
Oh, no, no, enjoying the weekend, bro.
I've completed my graduation 2022, but right now gap year. I mean, it's okay. See, nothing can be done about it. No, it's okay if you have a gap year. I mean, if you can do something about it, if you can do some prep, like internship, if you can do some other things to build your profile, that's totally fine. But even if you're not able to do that, just make sure that you do something to cover that gap year. If you're not able to do that, just focus on your CAT preparation. Just do good in your CAT, and then it should conceal the gap that you have. Not a problem. Understand low academic scores, gap years, any particular thing that you've done in past can't be changed now, right? So it's totally fine. Focus on what's there going ahead and then complete those things. No problem. Right. I think you guys don't have any more doubts. So all the very best, guys. Right. This section, this masterclass was onto something that is very close to both of our hearts, right? And we tried to give you as much insight as we could regarding this. Saying that it is all onto your practice now, right? Give this as much time as possible. Send as much this thing as possible, and you will surely be able to do good in that, right? We constantly share questions with you guys. Please spend some time solving those questions. Please share your solutions. Please share your doubts. That is like really, really, that just makes us really happy because we put in a lot of time to make those questions for you. Right? Doing internship necessary? No, not necessary. Of course, it will be better if you do that, but not necessary. Uh, Kushi, it's okay. If you have a gap year, that's totally fine. If you can make up for it, good. If you're not able to make up for it, still okay, as long as you're able to do good in CAT. Nothing of that sort matters. Okay? It's all good. I mean, all of these things can be handled while you prep for GDPI, right? That's not a problem. No problem. All right. Thank you so much, guys. We will be coming up with more updates, right? We will be coming up with all the things that we have for you in mind. We have a lot, absolutely, right? So you'll get to know something very, very soon in the evening. There's something very exciting from us. And thank you so much, Arpan, yeah, for taking your time out on weekend, right? I really love these people, guys. I mean, uh, it's the intent that we guys share for helping you guys. Right? I don't think Arpan at any point of time in this session felt bored. I mean, we are really happy and interested to help you guys as much as possible. So I want you guys to just try to thank you, Arpan, in chat if possible, and to just show him some gratitude. That would be really good. You have
No
to say
problem,
anything,
Aman.
Arpan?
My pleasure taking it. It's always like Aman and I have known each other for a lot of time as well, and we share common interest for quants. Anytime we can discuss about it and the experience that we have had with CAT. So it's always enjoyable sharing it with others as well. So no problem. And any doubts, you can reach out to him as well.
That's
Yeah.
so sweet of you, brother. And
Even me as
also,
well. I am there on Telegram. If you someone can ping you my username and all. If you have any doubts, you can ping me. So otherwise, all the best for your prep. And hope you do well.
absolutely. All the very best, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in, and we'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Bye bye. Have a nice weekend.
Bye, Aman. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.